Alrighty, here we are. I'm gonna start the main set. 1600 warm up is done so far with some drills, some fast 25s, and now 20 times 100 is the main set. I'm gonna do them on 130, so plenty of rest. And today is focused on intensity as I get ready for T100 Singapore. The goal is to hit under 110 pace for all of these. And for me, I can only compare myself to where I am in my swim. For me, that's gonna be a good swim. And I'm gonna be happy with that, and I'm gonna be pushing, and that's gonna be progress. Progress, not perfection. So I'm excited with where the swim's going. I'm excited with what I've accomplished, and just focused on the process of it. Let's get it. Nice. Good work. Just really thinking about being relaxed. I want to get tense, right? Because I want to be aggressive. I want to feel strong. And so I tighten up, and then swimming, I got to do the opposite. So I actually would think, like, this might sound bad, but it's usually the reality. Like, okay, I'm dropped, I'm alone, and it's not that the goal is to make the group, right? But you also want to prepare yourself for race situations and see how you deal with it. So it's like, okay, I'm dropped, I'm on my own. I'm picturing myself there in the Marina Bay in Singapore. On my own, it feels hot as can possibly be, and like, as opposed to fighting that and having negative energy and flailing, it's like, stay relaxed, stay calm, I got this. Be one with the water. Really focus on my inhale and my exhale to expel heat and to continue swimming smooth and as good as I can. And yeah, so that's what I was trying to put myself in that situation and see how I deal with it. But I guess I'd rather have out of the water than going way out in the water, right? Which is what I used to do. So yeah, 20 times 100. Yeah, again, I opted for a little bit more rest and kind of focused on speed. And yeah, I would say I averaged pretty much right on 110. It's hard to say without an exact stopwatch if it was under 110 or just right at 110. And I believe I'm on the right track, and I believe swim development, it's exactly that, it's swim development, because once you, like 2023, I worked on the swim, and then even though I worked a lot less on the swim in 2024, I was worse, but I wasn't like that much worse than 2023. And so now it's really trying to develop the swim to a higher level, because you can see this in all the top guys. They've done the development in their youth, or most of the top guys. I'm not going to grossly generalize people, but like most of these long course top swimmer guys, they're not swimming nearly as much as me, actually, because they've already done the development, and then they can put that extra energy into the bike and run. And so I believe I can find the way, and there is hope for me that I can improve at this, and that I've seen signs of good swims before, and I just have to make that quite consistent. So that's my current thinking.
Be excited to put your swim fitness to the test in Singapore. See where you're at.
Yeah, I'm excited. What would the right word be? Excited. I'm looking forward to the test and the challenge. Like, I don't want to. The T100 is a scary place to be a developmental swimmer. Like, it's a scary place to be a developmental swimmer, and you know, I think a lot of people, they would just not even sign the contract because it's like, it's not fun being in last place in the swim, you know? And I don't think that's just for me that it's not fun. Like, I think anyone in the world would pretty much agree that it's not fun, like, being in last place in the swim with no one to swim with. And that's been an extremely motivating factor to not have that. It's like a I do not want to be in that situation, and that's kind of like a big motivating factor. But we've got faster guys coming into the T100, faster swimmers coming into the T100. Like we've got Vincent Lewis coming in, we've got more ITU guys coming in, so the swim has more firepower. So it's actually like going a level up, and so I guess you could say like there's some nervousness, there's some being scared, but I am also like I'm excited to test myself, and like part of me feels I might just get ripped a new one, by society, by everyone, because it's like these things are like you do it or you don't. You either, at least in T100 it's been that way, you either make the swim group or you don't make the swim group. But for me, like I swam 4 minutes back at Singapore, so let's say I swim 3 minutes back this time, but I'm still all alone. Like for me, that would be a minute of improvement in the swim, which would be a great sign of progress. Is it enough? Well, I don't know, but it doesn't really matter if it's enough. Like I've done everything I possibly can to improve my swim as much as I can in the time I've had, and so like I have to measure my progress that way, regardless of how it looks. And but now, am I excited to see where my swim is at, like in more Ironman branded races where there's more different groups I can make? Hell yeah, you better believe I'm excited for that, because that's where I really believe like I'm gonna make a different pack, because there's multiple packs to make. And of course I'm not gonna say it's not possible. Like there is a chance I will find myself in the pack in the T100, and if I do that, I'm gonna be like over the moon. So I started taking AG1, well, actually in part because of my day in the life eating video. A lot of people were telling me that I was missing a lot of my fundamental nutrients, that I needed to work on my micronutrients and my overall health. And I read every comment, so I listened to that. And then there's just so much health going around now, and for me as well, right? I was sick after Dubai, then I got sick after the wedding, so I spent like 20 days and 40 days basically being sick in December, just because of how exhausting and long the triathlon season is. And so I was like, I gotta find a way to work on my health. And then you see so many great athletes taking it, like Laura Phillip, winning the world champs. You got Jackie Herring with 2 kids taking it, because I think that Tim O'Donnell, you got that's another big thing for me, right? With Leo, he's exposed. He's obviously just developing his immune system, so he gets sick easier, and then he passes it on me. And so for me, it's like triathlon is a game of attrition, right? Each year is a game of attrition, especially as the seasons get more demanding, as we have more organizations competing with each other, more international travel. And I got to go all the way till December 15th. And I was dead last year, and I need to make sure that I stay healthy, because like performance and health are not the same, right? Like we pursue performance to be at our best, but it's actually, and we can lose some of that health, but if your health falls off too much, well then your performance completely falls off the face of the planet, right? And so for me, it's to maintain my health. I'm not a huge supplement guy, and so like I don't want to be taking 10 supplements. The beauty of this is I know I take this, it's going to keep me consistent, it's going to allow me to just hit all of those things in a simple way. I pour 8 ounces of water, I do a scoop of powder, I put the vitamin K in, and so I'm quite happy with it. I enjoy the taste of it. And I want to share that you guys can also try this. You can get started with the starter kit by hitting the QR code or the link here, and you'll get $76 of value free in the starter kit, as well as $20 off your first subscription. So I hope you can take on your journey like me and improve your health and fitness, because staying healthy is then allowing you to reach a peak fitness.
Sam, what have you been doing for your prep? Have you been doing the exact same thing you did last year, or has it been different? And or have you been doing heat training?
This year's a little different. I've been swimming more for sure. Obviously, I started the year I started my preparations later because last year I started in September, really. Sorry, October, and this year I started in January. And this year I'm actually doing specific heat prep. Last year I did not one heat prep session. And this year I've been doing already for a few weeks, I've been doing 3 times a week heat prep. So I think that'll be a difference. And then obviously last year I did Oceanside, which I think was an interesting double, especially when you consider like how cold it is in Oceanside. The water and even the air temp was quite cold. So I basically like had to switch my whole body from freezing cold to hot within 6 days. Well, now I'm just getting my body prepared for the heat. The fans, yeah, I thought it was actually the experts who picked this, you know. My goal, I've written down where I think I'll finish. I believe I'll finish between 6th and 8th is my own personal goal at the end of the year, T100 standings. So that's actually pretty consistent then. That's right in the middle. Obviously 6th would be better than 7th and 7th would be better than 8th, obviously. And yeah, I mean, this year I finished 6th. So I predict to finish basically about the same. But this year I'm going to be if I finish 6th, 7th, or 8th, I'm going to be actually quite happy with myself. It's a great payday. You're competing with some of the top guys in the world. You're competing against guys who this is their sole focus for the year. And so my goal, I guess I've shifted my focus a little bit from the overall series to more of the individual races, because last year I was actually I was maybe the most consistent guy actually across 6 races, but last year they only counted like 4 out of this. It ended up only being 4 out of the 6. So like being consistent at 6 actually, it hurt me. I would have been better off actually performing worse in 2 races and then performing slightly better in 2 races. And I've also think like my goal now is to focus on, I've got 3 of them targeted, and if I can win one, really honest to God, if I can win one would be the whole goal of the year. And whatever I finish at the series, honestly, I don't really care. I care mostly because it's a paycheck, but like I want to have good results at individual races, and I think Singapore is maybe the best course for me, unless the course has changed. But with the conditions, I also think Singapore is actually the most. I think it might be even more significant than the grand final because almost everyone's there. We've got 18 out of the 20 guys there, but I also think it's like the world champs and everyone's vying for position. Everyone wants to start well, right? And so everyone's racing to be competitive. And at the end of the year, you see a lot of people fall off. Like if you're going at the end of the year and you're ranked 18th and it's December 15th, I hate to tell, like, let's not lie. You're not going to be smashing it most likely because you've already tossed in the bag. You know you're not going to win the series. You know you're not going to be competitive. And so this is, in my opinion, the most competitive T100 race of the year. And obviously we're seeing the ITU guys, we're seeing the complete takeover of the ITU over the long course. We see that I got absolutely no chance. I got no shot. Anyone's got no shot who's not in the ITU. But I want to prove that wrong. I just want to prove that wrong. And that's why I'm like, one race, it's really just one race. I want to show that I can perform with the ITU takeover and be at my best. And that makes me, as you can tell, it gets me fired up, it gets me really hungry, it gets me really motivated. And Singapore is, as I've said, it's, in my opinion, the most significant T100 race of the year. To start off the year, all eyeballs are on it, and so I'm motivated to train and to do my best. Well, I was hoping to have an epic Singapore pre-race video and intimidate my competition by smashing it and being super impressive, and instead, I don't know, I don't think I really intimidated everyone. I actually think the swim was the most impressive thing I did today. 20 times 100 on 130. For me, swimming 110s. That's actually pretty good. And then the bike was off. I was calculating it. I think I was about 8% off on the bike. So I also would think I would be 8% off on the swim, which actually means I'm swimming, again, very, very well, especially for being tired, and then running 8K, 5 miles at 7:25 pace, feeling like the legs are really heavy. But let me tell you, well, there's two realizations. One, as I've come of age, I think there's, I still like the expression hard work wins, because I do think you gotta work hard, you gotta do the work. But I also wanna make a coffee cup that every morning I wake up and I'm gonna sip my coffee and it's gonna say brains over brawn, right? Because I think there's a point in triathlon, actually just everything in life, where being smarter rather than just working really, really hard is what gets you there. And I think it's a constant reminder, especially in our sport, because there's never enough volume, there's never enough intensity, you're never enough, period. And so it's a great reminder. And then the final conclusion is about you, Bobos. You and Mama is that, you have these hard days, and it's just so great because rather than, being upset, you come back, you got joy all around you, you got a beautiful life. I think before, I used to just train in life just to train. I would just train because it was all I had, and now it's like I have a purpose. Like I want to be the best athlete because I want to provide for them, and it just gives me so much purpose. And so a great day, really. All in all, a pretty mediocre average day, but still another great day to be alive. Leo, is it good? Is it dobro? Yes. So thank you so much for tuning in. At Singapore. Yeah, now you gotta share some of that, Coco.